As we begin our ceremony, it is my privilege and pleasure first to welcome Dartmouth Provost David Kotz to the podium. David Kotz is the interim provost at Dartmouth and the Champion International Professor of Computer Science. He has served previously as the Associate Dean of the Faculty for the Sciences and the Executive Director of Dartmouth's Institute for Security Technology Studies, or ISTS. His research interests include security and privacy, computing for healthcare, and wireless networks. He is a Fellow of IEEE, a former Fulbright Fellow, and an elected member of Phi Beta Kappa. Provost Kotz holds an AB in Computer Science and Physics from Dartmouth, class of 1986, and a PhD in Computer Science from Duke University. Please join me in welcoming Provost Kotz to the podium.
Welcome. Thank you, Dean Helbley. Good morning and welcome. It's a pleasure to celebrate with you all today. First, I want to take a moment to thank the Thayer faculty and staff for their passion and for their dedication in helping each of you achieve everything you've achieved to get here today. For faculty, I know this means perfecting the academic balancing act of research and mentorship. I'm grateful for your continued commitment to handling these competing tasks with poise, enabling our students to take advantage of everything Thayer has to offer. Indeed, I was once one of those students. I remember with fondness the first time I stepped into Cummings Hall on the first day of my Engines 27 course in digital electronics with Professor Hankins. This was way back in the summer of 1984, before Cummings had been expanded, before McLean was even a dream. As it happens, this course turned out to be one of my most memorable favorite courses at Dartmouth. Indeed, I still have my notebook, all of my class notes. I'm a bit of a pack rat. My homework assignments, my midterm exam. Actually, by the way, Dean Helbley, is it too late to ask for more points on question 3? I've always felt a little shy on question 3. I remember that was summer of 1984, so it was sophomore summer. I remember many sunny summer afternoons hunched over a breadboard in the electronics lab with my lab partner tackling and debugging some complex circuit that we were trying to build. We had decided to build something at the time fairly complicated with an Intel 8051 microcontroller, which was state-of-the-art at the time. And thankfully, through a lot of support from Doug Fraser, thank you, Doug, we got it to work. And I was very pleased with the outcome of that course. So a year later, I decided I'll take another Thayer class, this one in VLSI design. In this course, each student designed their own chip, which would then be sent off to Moses for fabrication. Imagine that, students designing and building their own computer chips. How cool is that? Fortunately, I still have my notes for that class too. Like I said, pack rat. And so we used this at the time, this is 1985, this amazing technology for designing circuits, probably better than anything you have today. This technology was so advanced, so sophisticated, that the circuit diagrams are still available to me today, still readable with today's technology. It's extremely low power, highly flexible, very resilient, and probably not familiar to those of you in the graduating class. It's called graph paper and colored pencils. Still readable. Yes, I designed my entire chip on graph paper with colored pencils, actually many sheets of colored paper. And then we had to transcribe all the coordinates for the traces and the transistors as numbers into a text file, which we would then send off to Moses for fabrication. And then wait 4 months. And then, so 4 months later, to much fanfare, our chips came back and I wired it up and plugged it in, and it did nothing. So I put it under the microscope, and I could see all the traces I had imagined so many months earlier with my graph paper. And very carefully tracing what I had connected to what, I realized I had wired directly power to ground. And it was because of a transcription error in trying to read all this graph paper and type it into the text file. I do, by the way, have the original text file here still on the original printer paper. And it goes on and on, so you can imagine why I made somewhere a typo that cost me the entire chip. Fortunately, I somehow managed to pass the class, but it was at that point I decided I'm probably not destined to be an engineer. I'm probably better off being a computer scientist programming somebody else's chips. So fortunately, we now today have an outstanding crop of new engineers. And over the past few years, I've had the pleasure of getting to know some of you through research collaborations that have brought me from computer science down to the Thayer School. In getting to know you, I've experienced your idealism and curiosity firsthand. I've learned that you're no strangers to the arduous and often painstaking reality of academic work, the long nights, the setbacks, the self-doubts that accompany any scholarly pursuit. From my position in the computer science department, I perhaps know you best as eager collaborators. And it's your appetite for interdisciplinary work that makes me so excited that computer science will move from Sudikoff to the West End in a few years when the new building is constructed. The most pressing issues of our time, from climate change to economic inequality to the diseases that threaten our health, defy these disciplinary boundaries. These issues have no single origin. They arise from a convergence of social, economic, and scientific factors. Solving these challenges will require the diversity of knowledge that you embody as a class and the interdisciplinary mindset you have developed as engineers trained in the liberal arts context. So as you embark on your next chapter, collaborate often, explore different disciplines, reach across the aisle. Draw on the talents of your colleagues and former classmates and volunteer your expertise. Remember that all you have achieved together and the power of being part of a larger whole. It's been our honor to have you as students, and we offer you our warmest wishes for the future. Congratulations.